Hey everyone, I'm Sarah
I'm Lucinda.
and welcome back to another Colorful & Co video. And today we are diving into how to just be able to visualize each of the different seasonal color palettes. And there's some tricks to it. And I think we have a really great way and an easy way. By the end of this, you will have memorized each of the four seasons, I
Well,
will say.
I don't know that you would have them memorized, but there will be a
Visual.
map.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody out there has the same problem I have, and I forget things. So we're going to give you prompts, if you know your season, to be able to be out and about. And if somebody asks you, oh, are these my colors? You can say, well, you're in autumn, and here's how we know.
Right.
And where do you want to start, Sarah?
I
Which
would love to start at autumn because I think that's the easiest one, but that could just be because I'm in autumn. So,
Right. The visual map that I urge you to kind of bring to mind is that of an autumn landscape. Think the changing leaves.
I always think of the image where like it's a mountain and all the leaves are just
Changing.
different
Yes.
hues. Of,
We live in Virginia. And so in Virginia, it is a spectacle when the trees change, and we have something called the Parkway, and people go driving on the Parkway, and the vista is just exquisite. And so, what do you see in that vista? You see burnt orange.
Right.
You see hunter green. You see gold.
the golden leaves,
I mean,
the
pick
red.
up
But it's not just any red, it's like this rust.
soft,
Yeah.
rich, complex red. So pick up any leaf, in autumn, and look at the leaf, and just look at how many colors you see in that leaf. And that's the story of autumn. If you're in autumn, think of that landscape.
Right. That's why I think autumn is the easiest. Now, second, I believe it's definitely not summer. I would say winter.
Why not?
Okay.
That's another deep season, but it's crisp and clear and bold and sharp.
But also cool.
It's very
cool and
cool. And what I
chilly
tell
and-
people to do is think about Christmas lights and snow and berries and holly. The green in winter is a cool, deep green.
Right.
And I like to tell people to think about a night or dusk, and it has snowed, and people have their Christmas lights up. And you might be standing by a holly bush and the berries are there and the snow, and maybe you have a husky and he's black and white. I don't know. But that's the picture
Right.
that you can bring to mind. If you're a winter and you're out shopping, you ask yourself, is this bold? Is it clear? Is it kind of a jewel tone like, winter, the lights, the Christmas lights? And that will give you your visual map or your color map of winter. Spring is
Yes.
so easy.
I think spring is easy too. We saved the hardest for last. So let's get through
It's not-
spring and then we'll
it's
go
not
to
really
the tough one.
Spring. What happens in spring? You get new life
Right.
everywhere.
Renewal.
Yes, the leaves come out, and you actually see sprouts of this new leaf color, which is kind of a bright, kind of yellowish green, when all this new growth starts coming out. And then you see blossoms and things start to
Right.
bloom, and you start seeing those colors. So spring, which is a bright season, it's known as a bright season. Your color map for spring is what you see: new leaves growing out and blossoms blossoming. I like to think about gardens, like you're in Italy, and all these flowers have bloomed, and the trees have kind of put out their new growth.
Like a tulip garden with all these just beautiful, different, vibrant shades of tulips coming up.
Well,
That's what I think about.
springs out there, that's you.
And then lastly, our summers.
My season.
Which
And-
I find to be the hardest, but once you start getting this visual map, and I learned it from you. So once I figured that out, I was like, all right, This is actually
So
really
easy.
easy.
So I'll give you a little bit of history. The Four Seasons color analysis basically embodied some things that some scientists discovered, 100 years ago. And they needed something to call it. Are they going to call it dusk and dawn or whatever? It ended up being called the Four Seasons. Winter was perfect. Autumn was perfect. Spring was perfect. And then we had summer. And which is a cool season. But summers are not cool, meaning the actual temperature in summer. That's not cool. That's not what they're talking about. What we're talking about is the visual map is the haze of all that heat. When you're in summer and it's hot and you're looking out into a distance, the color has desaturated. It's hazy.
It's like the heat coming off the ground when it's really hot and you get those waves kind of just
and you're looking at those same mountains in Virginia in the distance, and they're actually a blue color and they're hazy and
the beach too.
Slightly grayed out. But to back up, in the spring, when it's not so hot, all the colors look crisp and bright. When it gets really hot, things look hazy. And hazy is the signature or the color map for the summer season. Think haze. Think a whole palette that has just a veil, a hint of dust on it, or a veil of just the slightest bit of desaturation. And that is what the summers wear. Because you ladies, those of you who are summers, you're delicate. You're not bold like the winters. You're not bright like the springs. And you're not soft and smoky like the autumns. You are delicate. You're lacy. And that's what I need you to remember when you're a summer and you go out and you go shopping. You say to yourself, is this hazy? Is it a little dusty? Is it desaturated just a little bit so that some of the boldness and the brightness and so forth is cut from it? And is it part of what could be a cool palette? And then you've got summer in a nutshell.
So I really hope that gave you a great visualization to help just kind of give an idea of each of the palettes that you can have.
In your head.
Right, just so you can take it with you.
Tap.
And just think about it wherever you go. And also you might see these colors out and about and you can visualize and say, you know what, that's a summer, that's a spring. And be able to work that into your palette for you and what's best for you.
And the one thing I would encourage you to do is take your own mental picture of each of these things we described, because that is going to go with you forever. I certainly did with me. I did the same thing when I was teaching color. And, I would tell people, take a picture in your head of a beautiful spring. When I went to Rome just a minute ago, that was my picture. And when I tell you about the summer, I have a picture on the beach in my head of these hot, dusty kind of grayed out shades. And of course, who doesn't know a beautiful autumn?
As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And this is Colorful & Co. And we will see you in the next video.